Aw, will you look at this? Simba. Simba. Come on, Simba. Let's go home. Simba looks pregnant. This is we're looking at a cat. House cat Hake. One of the graduated callers called me. Anyway, but that's not my photograph, obviously. That's a picture of a desktop. It's a desktop photograph. It's a very high quality. You can tell it's not Hake's photography. But anyway, it's, oh, Lord have mercy. It's 9 a.m. here in Los Angeles, and it's, what day is it? Tuesday, the 28th. I got distracted. Of October, AD 2025, and we're gonna have a fun, hopefully fun, Loosey-goosey, the Hake Report show. The Hake Report. I think it might be okay. So get excited. You know, the views expressed on Hake do not represent Hake, nor do the attitudes, right? Some people sometimes have a bad attitude, and sorry. You know what I mean, Jelly Bean? Here, let me refresh just to make sure that I... Good morning, Nicole and Jim in Alaska. Yeah, so take everything that you hear, think, see, interpret with a grain of salt. All right? Don't necessarily believe your thoughts or what you hear and stuff here on the Hake Report. All right? So you can call in 1-888-775-3773. And you can also super chat. Some of you already have. I appreciate that. That's cool. I really do. But anyway, everybody, let's just get on. I feel like this is kind of quiet. With the show. Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la.
Good morning, James.
Good morning, James. Good morning, Tim. Was that shout out to Tim, past, present, future, docs, for the excellent and fun little, was that kind of anticlimactic? It might be okay, it might not be, it might be a little bluish. I'm looking at this background here, I messed with it, I fiddled with it. I did make a newer version that's a little more orange-greenish. I don't know. So, how you guys doing? I'm fine. What a mess. Anyway, I just thought I'd pull something different. That was past, present, future. He did that and he sent it to me. You know what I mean, Jelly Bean? Shout out. Yes, I do. Tennis shoe. Wow. And we're done with the intro before 5 after. Pretty cool. You guys mad? Bring back. We want the other one. We want the other one. The original is the AJ Gallardo original theme song of the Hake Report. And we only play that on Fridays. I was like, forget that other one. It's all produced and polished and climactic and explosive and professional and genius. Anyway, thank you, Bolghar Wolf, for the support over there. Oh, let me do a little goal. Here, 1 super chat in 2 hours, but my show is less than 2 hours to go, so nice. You guys, I already told you can call in. I wanted to show you guys that we're in trouble. It's a national security crisis. According to the great, if we mosey on over to thehakereport.com, read up on your impending doom if you're from the United States. Declining birth rates. It's a national security crisis. Hopefully he doesn't cuss. This was meant to be on national TV, so he shouldn't cuss. But let me show this to you guys.
Vision, your commitment to our country. One by
It's worse than cussing. It's hard to listen to. This is RFK Jr. breaking from last week, I think, the 16th. More than a week ago, almost 2 weeks ago. RFK Secretary RFK Jr. of Health and Human Services, according to a leading report, declares declining birth rates, America's declining birth rate, a national security threat. Check this out. 45 seconds.
Thank you for your vision, your commitment to our country. When my uncle was president, the fertility rate in this country was 3.5%. Today, it is 1.6%.
Wait a minute. Percent? Oh, maybe so. I don't know. Is he saying that wrong? 3.5 children per percent? I don't know. Anyway, now it's 1.6. I don't know if percent is the right word. I don't know. Because I feel like you're supposed to have 3 children or more per woman or something like that. Or something to that effect. But now people have less than 2, generally.
Replacement rate, in other words, the amount of fertility that you need in order to keep your population even, is 2.1%.
I don't know if he's saying it correctly. Is it percent? You need to have 2.1 babies per couple. Because the 0.1 is for, okay, for 100 couples, you need 210 babies. All right? Something like that. Married couples, ideally. You need 210 babies per 100 couples, because that's actually 200 people, and then you need the extra 10 just to replace, because that extra 10 are going to die off or something, you know, or are not going to be fruitful. So you're not going to replace them. Anyway.
We are below replacement right now.
Yep.
That is a national security threat to our country.
That's right.
And we know why this is happening. And President Trump is...
Why is it happening? Interesting.
Addressing the root causes through his MAHA agenda of reducing endocrine disruptors, the exposure
endocrine disruptors,
the chemicals that decrease fertility. Today,
it's not just the chemicals, man, but
thank you for your vision, your commitment to our country. When
he's thanking Trump, I think, for the vision and commitment to our country, I think.
My uncle was president.
He's talking about JFK, John F. Kennedy Jr. Pardon me if I'm interrupting it too much. Let me just play it out.
The fertility rate in this country was 3.5%.
60s.
Today, it is 1.6%. The replacement rate, in other words, the amount of fertility that you need in order to keep your population even, is 2.1%. We are below replacement right now. That is a national security threat to our country.
Yeah.
And we know why this is happening. And President Trump is addressing the root causes through his MAHA agenda of reducing endocrine disruptors, the exposure to chemicals that decrease fertility. Today, thank you for your...
Can't hear. You interrupt too much, says Clubbombs. Sorry, guys. Sorry. Nobody's even answering it. Nobody's even answering, because I ask in the chat, is the clip too loud? Is it just right? Is the clip too quiet? What a mess. Whatever, guys. Thanks a lot. Usually the chat is more helpful to me. And many aren't having any children at all. Somebody's like, get busy, Hake. That's not how it works. You don't just run. As Elvis sang rightly, wise men say only fools rush in. feel like I can barely hear myself, so I'm going to turn this up here. I feel like I can barely hear myself. How is this? Okay. Nice. True, you keep stop. I didn't stop it. I played it all the way through after that. I'm not going to play it anymore for you guys. I don't like his voice, but I don't think that he's really dealing with the root causes if you think about it. I don't think that he's really dealing with the root causes. I saw this interview between two competitors of mine, and these two competitors of mine talked about men and women, and they didn't specifically, I don't think, address the birth rates, although they kind of did. You know how people are having less S than ever? Sorry, kids, and Linya and Shin. I know that messes up your central nervous system. I think that that's more the shmornography thing. They talked about that. It was very interesting. And women are a mess. Men are a mess. And it's very interesting. And then also, the societal setup, the encouraging women to be irresponsible and not take any responsibility and to overinflate their sense of self-worth, if you will. They at once think too highly of themselves and at the same time also think too lowly of themselves, because that's what happens when you're an evil, egotistical person. You're up and then you're down, you're in and you're out, hot and you're cold, a mess and you're alone. So that has more to do with it than a little endocrine disruption. Tap water, turning the frogs. I feel like tap water is not that bad, and soy is not that bad compared to a bunch of other things that people are doing that mess with themselves. They got onto that topic a bit, partly because they were talking about the assassination culture. These competitors of mine, and the assassination culture is these young people who are just lost, angry, evil, vicious, JLP says anyone who's angry is a murderer, and it's in the Bible. It's a fact. Anyone who hates his brother is a murderer. Same thing, anger, hate. Whatever, come on, man. You're a mess. Come on, man is the new nagger. Kevin Howe his nagging pales in comparison with yours. I don't even notice Kevin Howe is not hardly a nagger at all. It's come on, man who's a nagger in the chat. But anyway, speaking of women and nagging and evil and hate and Erderme and thoughts. Remember how they did in Charlie Kirk? That one guy, not they, but that one guy did in Charlie Kirk. And then a bunch of people, celebrated it and mocked it. And they're going out for Halloween dressed up like as if it just happened to them, dressed in the freedom shirt. You know what I mean? They're nasty. They're evil. And they tried to do in my competitor. I have called him the future president. They tried to do him. Well, one guy did. A whole bunch of, he got doxxed. They doxed him. People doxed him. Multiple people doxed him, so I can say they. And then multiple people went to his house to try to just harass him, throw eggs at his house. Just evil. It's a genocide. And I know that it's a liberal word, but if there's any right use of it, it's that one. Because it's the spirit of genocide. It's the spirit of murder. You know how Trump has the spirit of the freedom of speech and JLP has the spirit of the freedom of speech? Anyway, these people are on drugs. My best competitors are anti-pot. Pot, worse even than alcohol. Oh, they condemned alcohol too. Pot worse than alky. Pardon me for saying it in a cute way, because it's not, alcohol is not cute. All right, FYI. Okay, so assassin culture. And, oh, that's shmornography. Competitors. Did you guys see my competitors talk? Wow, pretty good. MAHA. So, yeah, I mean, I'm not for some of these unhealthful things, of course, I guess, whatever. I don't think that it's the key or big deal or the root issue. It's not the root cause. RFK, I like you, but shout out. Hopefully they deal with that too. I hope that they deal with, you know, the shameless shmornography culture. Because it's not right. And the shameless pot and shameless alcohol culture. And shameless everything. So it's a mess. Yes, I'm seeing a lot of people talking about alcohol in the chat. Ruined many people in my life. Toxic as Hake. Not Hake. Didn't say Hake, but I'll just call it Hake just to clean it up. Yeah, and that's not good. And then the weed thing is even worse, they said. Yeah. Because you can do it and get away with it. It's more smiled upon, and people don't notice. And he pointed out, what I noticed too is that any time that you talk about it, how pot's not good, they get mad and defensive about it. Interesting. Yeah. And the same thing with the alcohol too. Similarly, they're like, it's like friends can't even hang out together unless they have to get, don't say this, well, cover your ears, kids, drunk, just to be able to hang out with and put up with each other. Terrible, huh? I don't even know if that's exactly true. I used to go to parties with my friends, like Halloween parties and stuff, and I specifically didn't drink all night with them. And I had fun. A mess, though. So, nice. Replacement rate. Below replacement rate. And that is not just a national security, it's the country's going to collapse. It's not good. Nice. Okay, so I will get to your super chats. I see a bunch coming in. I want to get to Alan in Michigan, who's on the line here. Alan, how you doing, sir?
Pretty good. Boy, that was quick. I just called half a minute ago.
Oh, right on. I didn't even know that.
And again, you know, I've always said there's no coincidences, and you're talking about RFK and his, and I'm not a fan of the Kennedy clan, but when a guy does something right, he does something right. And by the way, I did read his book, The Real Fauci.
Oh, RFK Jr. wrote about the real Fauci, and
yes,
and so that's criticizing. I assume, I gather, I safely assume, Anthony Fauci, the former top guy during the China virus.
Exactly, but it goes much deeper than that. It's like over 400 pages.
Well,
it was a hard read.
He was involved back in the AIDS times with the AIDS epidemic. And
exactly.
I think that I heard, correct me if I'm wrong, that some people say that the treatment of the HIV got people sick and killed them.
Yes.
And that's according to them. So I'm just claiming it. I don't know if it's true or not, but that's what you read in that book.
He did a very, very good job. In fact, they have the way the book is written, and I'm not saying he wrote the book. He obviously had it researched and put his name on it, which is fine. It's great. He did a good thing, and it's a very good book. One chapter, at the end of the chapter, they put the end notes, they call it. There were 217 separate references. That's how thoroughly researched this book was. And I checked some of the references, not all, of course. And they were spot on. They were honest, and they really led to the right information.
Okay.
I highly recommend the book, but it's a long read. It took me a long time to read it. But you were mentioning, and this connects with this low reproduction figures, of which I guess I'm guilty, being an unmarried male. But the point being that he's right. There are a lot of these chemicals and things, and estrogen mimickers and things. In fact, I'm going through a program now where I'm actually detoxifying from a lot of these things. And one of the prime toxins that I'm getting rid of, which is very prominent in the Midwest, is glyphosate, which is in Roundup, and it is very, very, very bad for you. It disrupts all kinds of things in the body. But in any case, then that relates to what you and Jesse are talking about, because I just watched the Jesse program. It's a treat to watch him sometimes, to comment to people sometimes. But in any case, and you're talking about marriage this several days ago, and about the welfare system. I thought, well, this kind of connects with the reproduction thing, because it's messing up families, destroying families and everything.
Yeah.
And it called to mind 1 Timothy, the 5th chapter, where he talks about, he's writing about the elders of the church and the women. And it says in verse 3 of chapter 5, honor widows that are widows indeed. And I thought, aha, what is this? So I looked at the Greek word, and it means, yes, indeed, truly. And this is the idea that
what was the reference again? Mark?
1 Timothy, chapter 5, verse 3.
Okay.
And he's really addressing a lot of domestic issues here. He's very well done, of course, for the Bible.
Yeah.
And it does mean, so that means they have to be verified. In other words, no women that come in and say, well, I'm a widow and I need support by the congregational. No, there's none of that.
Yeah.
And it's several, not implications, but requirements. They have to be known by the congregation. They have to, in other words, no national or state welfare. The thing is, you don't know where the money is going to, whereas if it's a local congregation, oh, yes, this gal's a widow. She's really a widow, only had one husband. That's another. Only one husband.
Yeah.
None of this divorce stuff,
right,
like you were talking about several days ago. And, okay, we're going to help her, and then they make the breakdown of the widows, the young widows and the older widows. Well, that's a whole subject in itself.
Yep.
But it does say, I think a key
like
verse
Charlie
is verse
Kirk's
8.
widow wouldn't count as like a regular widow because she got it going on.
Oh, well, I don't know too much about her personal life.
Me neither, but I think
judge.
she was going to be doing fine. She doesn't need any extra charity, is my point.
Yes, I would
Other
think
than the
not.
spirit of charity being gracious towards her.
Right. But verse 8 is...
Although she is crying and lying. Go ahead, sorry.
Yeah. Verse 8, but if any provide not for their own, and especially for those of his own house, he is hath denied the faith, and is
Wow.
worse than an infidel. So that's your own house,
Take
your
care
own
of your
household.
wife and kids. The Hake.
Exactly. And then next comes the church, and then people who you really, the church determined, the local congregation knows what's going on, where the money is going to, where the help is needed. And that was really what America was all about. In fact, Alexis de Tocqueville, the Frenchman who, wrote Democracy in America, makes a point of this on his tour that a lot of times, basically, if there's a problem in the town or the church, the local people take care of it. Oh,
Nice.
We got a problem here. We got this widow. This is what we're going to get together and do. It wasn't from above. It wasn't from the state or the territory or the government.
Yeah.
It was all locally done. And that's what, Paul's talking about here, I believe. I think that could...
Oh, you cut out there.
Oh, yeah.
You-
My phone gets wanky.
Nice.
Yeah. I'm sorry. What did
Just
you
in
miss?
the last 5 seconds, you cut out. The last 5 seconds of what you were talking about.
I was just talking about the idea that it's the local people, that Alexis de Tocqueville pointed out that it was local action that took care of problems. Well, in the wilderness, there's nobody else around. You're not going to go to the government and say, oh, well, we got this problem. No, it's all local, and people took care of local problems.
Yeah.
And that's the way it works. In fact, I've seen it up here in the rural charms of Huron County. So anyway, that's really all I had to say.
Can I interrupt and say, didn't Alexis de Tocqueville say something like this country, America or whatever, will only last until the elected officials realize they can bribe the people to vote away their freedoms, something like that?
Yes, and I think he might have gotten that. Now, don't quote me on this, but I have been looking into the works of Lysander Spooner, a very great man, very practically unknown, but he wrote a treatise called The Constitution of No Authority, and he proposed, and he says, in law, the people who wrote the Constitution, that was a contract that only exists as long as they were alive. It couldn't be carried on to future generations because you cannot create a permanent contract with children. Now, I have an exception to that, but I'd have to go into an explanation of God's relationship to man and families and things like that. Yeah, he was a great man. He also did the Americans said, okay. Something quite interesting in his book, he talks about, at one time he was in Ohio, I believe it was, and he went over to Kentucky. Now, at that time, there was slavery going on, I believe, in Kentucky, and Ohio didn't have it. And he was comparing the lifestyle of people who had slaves and the people who didn't. And the people who had slaves, well, they go out hunting, and they go out fishing, and then they let the slaves take care of the work and everything. I thought, boy, that sounds familiar. So that's like federal employees. They have nice, easy, cushy jobs with a fat pension, and they're living off people like you and me and Jesse.
Wow.
And Bond. And, they're parasites. And that's what slavery is. It's parasites. I think Lincoln said slavery is you work, I eat.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'll throw that in. Boy, I'm going all directions here, and you got other callers I want to hear. Hey, I haven't heard from Mark in a long time. What's going on with him? He give up on you?
He might have. He may be back though. No worries.
Yeah. I'd
understand
love to have
Yeah, go ahead.
I'd love to have a conversation with Rob from Northern California, the Flat Earther. Because I've been doing some research. I'll say one thing. The Flat Earthers have gotten me looking more into the Bible, not verify the stuff, but to verify other things about not only the shape of the Earth, but man's limitations and position on the Earth. But that's all I'll say. I don't want to go into details. Like I said, I want to hear what other callers, you know me, I want to hear what other people have to say.
Okay. Good to hear from you, man.
Especially David Nokala. I like him, too. He's great.
Of course. Right on, man. Thank you, Alan.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Little tease on the flat Earth question. Did you hear JLP debunk flat Earth? Debunked completely. Just destroyed you guys. Kidding around a little bit, but nice. I liked that little point that Alan made about the slavery, slave masters, and the federal employees, which is disproportionately black, by the way. Shout out. Mess. Okay. Eddie's a first-time caller in New Jersey. Eddie, what's up? How you doing, sir?
Hey, what's up, Hank? How's your day?
Going well, thank you.
Awesome. Yeah, just wanted to call in. I had a question just to see if, get your feedback and, have a conversation.
Cool.
Yeah, so I was just wondering, how do you feel about the Jews? Like, how do you feel about Christians that don't understand that Jesus was Jewish? And I guess a lot of Christians are confused about, where Christianity originated from. So maybe you can educate people, because sometimes they bash people. They don't understand that they're bashing themselves.
Well, that's true. Anytime that you bash anybody, you're bashing yourself. You're making yourself look bad to anybody who's judging and stuff like that. So it doesn't even matter whom you're bashing. But yeah, specifically with regard to the Jews and the Christians, a lot of Christians lately, and especially Catholics, the Catholics seem to have an issue with the Jews, more than the normal Christians. By normal Christians, I'm talking about in America, the normal Christians or the Protestants or whatever you call us. And Jewish people are not Christian, I've recently found out. Like their set of morals, if you will, are quite different. Much more like loosey-goosey in terms of the sex thing. And so and in terms of they're kind of anti-racist, they're victim-minded. And so the normal Christians and the Catholic Christians, and a lot of them are realizing that and noticing that. And they're starting to judge the Jews, and that's not right. Now, Jesus being Jewish is irrelevant to me because that's irrelevant. The spirit is what matters, not the physical identity. Because the more you attach to the physical identity, you're gonna get confused. It's the wrong spirit. You're attaching the spirit to the physical, and that's a mess. Yeah. But in a sense, they are bashing themselves because Jesus said, forgive them. And Jesus, he called them out, right? He did call them out, but he didn't call them out with the evil spirit with which they're calling out the Jews. They think that they're being like Jesus calling out the Jews, but they're not. They're being more like Satan. They're being more like Jews calling out Jews. You know how the Jews call each other out and they're very judgmental, and the Jews call out the Christians as racist and different things like that, or anti-Semitic. That's how the Christians are turning. They're becoming godless, and it's not right. We're supposed to be better than that. And that's why I really liked yesterday's interview between this one of my competitors who's supposedly anti-Semitic, but I don't see it. But he's not a hateful person. At least he doesn't come off that way to me. And a lot of his followers are hateful, but he is not. And that's the case with everybody. Followers are hateful people. People who are self-led or God-led are not hateful. So,
are you God-led?
That's a good question. I don't disclose.
Nice. I appreciate you.
Yeah, I appreciate you. What do you think about it? about this whole mess?
Well, just to make a little joke, I heard Jesse's in the back eating Kentucky Fried Chicken, but yeah, I think I agree. I think that there's a lot of closed doors that people aren't aware of, and there's a lot of people that are closed off due to the things that have transpired in history. So there takes people that are able to go on different sides of the ring and be themselves, and are able to allow people to be themselves without judgmental.
Yeah.
I mean, being judgmental. And I mean, I've been in that I've been in shoes to where I've looked people in the eyes and I've said, this is who I am. This is my background. This is what I've been through. This is what my generation has been through. This is what my ancestors have been through. And I've been vulnerable, and they've been like, wow. And then they're able to open up and say, well, this is kind of what we've been through. And this is like a totally different race, totally different religion. And it's like when you have that open dialogue with people, and you don't hide inside of your house, and you come outside, even it can get you killed sometimes. But even when you realize that the battle that's outside, and you just come out and be yourself, people recognize that, even if they come from a totally different place, no knowledge or no education about what you're preaching or what what you belong to. And for them to say, you know what, I'm gonna be vulnerable, and let me show this person who I am. So that's kind of what I do. Yeah.
Are you Christian or Jewish or neither or both?
Oh, well, here's the thing, and it's a good question. I mean, if you want to get technical, yes, I'm Christian.
Okay.
But if you want to get even more technical, I mean, you have to understand. I mean, a lot of people don't understand the Bible. And there's so many different ways you can view the Bible. Some people are like, you have to read it backwards, or you have to read it upside down. So it totally depends on the way you're guided. So some people are guided in certain ways, and I don't judge, and everybody has their own way of viewing things. But me personally, obviously, I'm Christian due to the generation that I'm currently in. But I mean, let's be real. Like, if we go back to a certain era, I mean, obviously you're going to be a different person or a different denomination. So I don't hold anything against any denomination. All denominations have their purpose. But yes, I'm Christian, but I still love all the other different denominations, whoever they are, Muslim, Jew. I could care less, because they've all provided me with knowledge on my journey through life. And obviously, there's negatives and positives.
Are you part Jewish at all, or no?
I'm going to be honest. No, I'm full Christian, but my heart is so big. Yeah, my heart is just so big. Sometimes.
Are you part Latino or
no,
Irish, Italian?
To be honest, like
curious.
To be like, I'm black and white on the inside.
Oh, you're black?
No, yeah, I'm black. Yeah.
Oh, who knew? I wouldn't have guessed necessarily.
Yeah, no, I like doing that. Yeah, no. So just being honest, being open, and the reason why I'm saying this to you, Hank, is because I've been inside certain places to where most people wouldn't be able to, and I was shocked by what people showed me, like the side that most individuals would never see, or Christians. Yeah. And they, Jewish would never show a Christian this, or a Christian would never. So it's like I've seen those. I've seen things, and it helps, Hank. It helps you see, like, wait a second, we're all the same. They have their own X, Y, and Z, and it's like we're all in our own space. So it's like that's it.
Nice. I appreciate the question, Eddie in New Jersey. It's fun talking with you a little bit.
No,
here.
I always wanted to call you Hank. No, I really appreciate you, man.
Oh, did you know that it's Hake? It's Hake, not Hank. But you can call me Hank. You're welcome to call me Hank. But it's good to know that I'm Hake. H-A-K-E.
Look. Look, I'm from Maryland, so it's my countryside coming out.
Right on.
It's the Confederate coming out of me. My apologies.
Nice.
Yeah.
No problem.
Yeah,
I just want people to know how to spell it, because I like to direct people to the HakeReport.com, because I don't think I purchased the domain of the HakeReport.com.
H-A-N-K, right?
No, H-A-K-E.
Oh, that's why. Okay, I'm tripping. Yeah, that's my fault.
No, it's not your fault. Everybody calls me Hank.
Oh my God.
Even I had a friend in freshman year of high school. I had PE with him, physical education class. And then 8 years later, 9 years later, he's calling me Hank because he thought my name was Hank. So
Oh my
people
goodness.
people call me Jake, thinking it's James and Hake, James Hake. So I've been called all kinds of things. So
let me say this again. It's not Hank. It's Hank.
Hake. No N.
Hake. Oh, Hake. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for
H-A-K-E,
clearing
like
that.
cake, rake,
Hake.
fake, lake, steak.
Hey, Hake. A quick question.
Yes.
And be honest with me. If I come and I come to Sunday service, would you be scared to have a shot of vodka with me?
I might be scared to have a shot of vodka.
Look, it's kosher. It's kosher. It's acceptable.
But I'm not Jewish anyway. I don't care.
I'm teasing. No, I appreciate you, man. I definitely want to make it down there one of these days, man. I appreciate what you guys do.
So you're black and you have vodka?
Well, yeah, dude, because it's about the spirits. It's about coming out. It's about being alive.
Oh, okay. But only in moderation, of course.
Well, again, it depends on your dietary. Depends on what you're going through, my brother. I'm a coach. So
nice.
I want to pick Jesse's brain really quick. He has all these guys. I mean, the flunkies that come and are his coaches. But I'm just being cocky. But that's it. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you, Eddie. Appreciate it.
All right, baby. All right,
Take care.
Good. All right,
bye. Bye. Interested. Check out Alexis de Tocqueville. How do you pronounce this in Canada? Because you French Canadians might kind of know it. Wow, what in the world? 1849 caricature of Alexis de Tocqueville. So that tells you what he looked like. Because caricatures kind of emphasize the things that there's a sketch of him. Interesting. And that's a portrait of him. So even though they didn't necessarily have photography or cameras, a painting is a pretty good estimation of what he really looked like, I suppose. Alexis de Tocqueville. Huh, that's kind of interesting. All right, so I saw this and I was like, oh, squirrel. Okay, so let me write this. Pardon me. And I did not fall for it, though. I want you to know. So there's this I would not do this, kids. Don't do this, kids. Okay, I'm not going to play that music. I didn't see it. I didn't hear the music. So we're looking at beauty of nature should have anima. Bro felt it for the first time. Squirrel emoji, and then pleading, crying emoji, smile emoji with Bambi eyes. And there's this person's hand. You can tell it's not Hake's hand. Like nuzzling up. Is it nuzzling? Muzzling? Snuggling? I don't know. Kind of like petting the squirrel's front hands, or I don't know if it's hands, front feet. And, there's a kind of hands. Do squirrels have opposable thumbs and face and things like that? Yeah, it's so cute, right? Makes you kind of want to do it too. But I wouldn't do this because I don't trust squirrels. I'm scared of squirrels. Now, kids, don't be scared. We have dominion over the animals, but look at what I saw. It reminded me of this. Let's see if this plays. Oh, yeah, look at this. What? This guy is in his, garage or workroom, and the squirrel sneaked up on him or snuck up on him. Look, there's a squirrel right there, down there, and he just jumps on his face, and the guy's like, ah! And he rips him off his face and throws him down, and he runs away screaming like a girl. Look at him! And he's just trying to work in his... Oh, I'm glad they was censored. I wonder if there's audio to this. Is it just a GIF or GIF? I call it GIF. You guys call it GIF. Yeah, it's a GIF. But look at that. Psycho Squirrel. This is from Reddit. You can find r/Hake. Reddit.com/r/Hake. I shared it, right? I think, yeah, a few days ago. Crazy, huh? And I read into the comments. This is why I'm scared of squirrels. But kids, don't be scared of them. But this is why I'm concerned about them, and I keep my distance when I walk through these parks. That there's guys who will like go and like go and kind of feed it. It has begun, says somebody. Watch out reading Reddit comments. They cuss and stuff. They're vulgar. But let's see if this is rabies. Rabies. Yeah. I read about rabies. You should get the rabies shot regardless but catching the animal is important so the local wildlife or law enforcement agencies can do outreach. Oh yeah, you should catch the animal too and test the animal. But rabies does not let you like swallow and keep down water. So watch out for rabies, because you don't want rabies. You don't want animals to get rabies. You know, you've heard of a rabid dog. And I don't know if that's what happened to it, but it makes animals very desperate and vicious and crazy, potentially. So it might be the case. I don't know why he would do that. Now he has to close his door and he can't get fresh air or something. It's terrible. It's traumatizing to see this. So this whole thing is, see, normally I would be like, oh, it's so cute. But you don't know that it's dangerous. So here, watch rabies. Let's look up rabies real quick. Rabies is a fatal, meaning it'll kill you, viral disease. Affects the central nervous system, typically transmitted through the saliva of infected animals. Causes? The rabies virus, a member of the Rabidoviridae family. Pardon me. I don't know how to pronounce. Transmission by bite or scratch from an infected animal. Dogs, cats, bats, raccoons, skunks. Well, maybe squirrels too, perhaps. Who knows? Contact with saliva or mucus from an infected animal on mucous membranes or open wounds. Incubation period, a week to a year, depending on the location of the bite. Early symptoms, fever, headache, malaise, whatever that is, anxiety. Later symptoms, hydrophobia, fear of water. But it's not just fear of water. Like, you literally can't keep it down. You can't drink water. Man, and then, okay, so aerophobia, fear of air. So what, you can't breathe? Hallucinations, seizures, paralysis. So there are vaccinations and things, but you want to stay away from like wild dogs, wild animals, all right? I saw this footage of this guy who had rabies. Man, it makes me thirsty just to think about it. What's malaise? Malaise. A general feeling of discomfort, illness, uneasiness, whose exact cause is difficult to identify. Okay. Nice. Well, you know the cause, kind of, but it's like, yeah, interesting. Ooh. It's a global health concern. Eat that, flat earthers. I bet you it's a flat earth concern, too, because flat earthers live practical lives with dogs sometimes. What a mess, huh? But it's like rough because you couldn't drink. Imagine being thirsty and you can't drink water and it's right there. Whew. So that's my concern about squirrels. Rabies. You know what I mean? All right, so that's your little education. Watch out, kids. But don't be scared. Don't be disturbed. It's just the natural world. All right, just be careful. Don't be afraid. Be careful. I wouldn't do that, but maybe that's a clean animal. It must be a clean animal. He doesn't seem too desperate. But what if they have ticks and chiggers and things like that? You don't want to do it. Scary. Here, let me go back. I had something else going on the Hake report that I thought was maybe interesting. I am not done, Kamala Harris told BBC. Oh, Lord. She may run for U.S. president again. Why is this not scrolling? Okay. You know what I don't like? I'm going to take this moment to rant. Let's see if this plays. I bet you it won't. It might. I almost hope that it doesn't. So this is on YouTube, right? It's an embedded YouTube video. If I click play, it'll be like, you have to sign in to confirm you're not a bot. I'm already signed in. Let's see.
You tell
it played. Oh, all right, fine. Shall we hear it? Do we want to hear what's her name? I don't even really like listening to certain gals talk. This is 20 minutes.
Roller coaster story of the 107 days of your campaign. And it's a rollicking read. I've read it 3 times.
No kidding. What?
Yeah, because it's almost like a thriller. But it's clear you don't think losing the election was all your fault. So, Madam Vice President, you say you'd underestimated the public's dislike of a frail 81-year-old running again. Do you feel that President Biden and his team torpedoed your chances of a fair chance at winning the election?
Anyway, I don't know. Whatever. These gals, I'm not too interested. Okay. Oh, do we want to hear her a little bit?
As I've written,
the
buck stops with me in terms of my campaign. It always did.
Okay, she's about to talk out of both sides of her mouth.
And I take full responsibility for what I did, and
yeah, right.
And that's part of why I wrote the book, is to
what the books. From my understanding of this book is that she's blaming everybody else but herself, and then she's lying.
Talk about the reflections that I've had on those 107
Mildly
days,
attractive.
what I thought were strengths, but what I also thought could have been better. And, I wrote the book for many reasons, and primarily, this election in the U.S. was unprecedented. We had...
Yeah, because Trump stomped you. That's what, metaphorically speaking, in terms of the vote, he just dominated. He dominated. That's enough of that, right? Do we have anything else in here on this Reddit bro stuff? Oh, yeah. Let me just play this real quick, okay? So I mocked Kamala. Last Reddit bro thing. Reddit, what's that guy's name? Bernie.
That hard to do?
Oh, sorry, guys. Rest in peace, ears. Bernie, if you don't have any borders, you don't have a nation. Trump did a better job. I don't like Trump, but we should have a secure border. It ain't that hard to do. Biden didn't do it.
If you don't have any borders, then you don't have a nation, right? In a sense. So has historically the United States done well under Democrats and Republicans in protecting the border? The answer is no. Trump did a better job. I don't like Trump, but we should have a secure border, and it ain't that hard to do. Biden didn't do it. Those before him did not do it. We should have a secure border, period.
That's just lip service. He's probably going to say, but. Here, let me make sure that that's approved. Is that approved? Oh, yeah, I approved it a few days ago.
If you don't have any borders, then you don't have a nation, right?
What the Hake?
In a sense.
In a sense.
So has historically the United States done well?
Oh, he was on this competitors show, the Tim Dillon? I almost said Tom Dillon. Tim Dillon show. You can tell he was about to say something else. Probably condemning ICE or something ridiculous about that. No borders. If you don't have, as Trump said, he was copying Trump. Typical communist saying something that sounds reasonable and true and not crediting the source. I don't know if Trump stole it from somebody else. He could well have been doing that because he read Ann Coulter's book famously. Adios, America. I always say adios, America. If you don't have borders, you don't have a country. Adios, America. So, nice. And a hat tip, too, I learned from the great Chad O. Jackson that commies are lifting quotes from real people and then repeating them to sound like they're telling the truth, but they're not. Or they only tell a partial truth in order to slip in a lie. JLP has said that about Louis Farrakhan. Louis. Mix a little bit of truth with a big lie of anger in your face. Let me get to William, number 7 out of California, on the line over here. William, thanks for calling and holding, sir. What's up?
Hey, Hake, you're very welcome.
Nice.
Hey, I was just, you were going over some words called Maise, M-A-I-S-E or something like that.
Malaise, actually. M-A-L-A-I-S-E.
Malaise.
Yeah.
Is that after the place Malaysia?
Maybe.
So,
unfortunately,
when I looked at
named
that description, it seemed very vague, and I never heard of that before. But it was interesting that the symptoms seem to be describing what's in the Gospels when Jesus came near people who were possessed by, spirits and demons, flopping in fires and and whatnot. And so what if, like, this modern man or people said this making it a disease when it's actually a spiritual thing? That's actually
yeah. Well, one of the symptoms of rabies is malaise, M-L-A-I-S-E, which is a general feeling of discomfort, illness, or uneasiness whose exact cause is difficult to identify.
But it sounds like they're describing a feeling, not a symptom, because...
Right.
But, I mean, if you die of that, but dying of dehydration is definitely a thing. If you don't have water, then you will die. Now, if it causes your brain to be dehydrated, I guess you could go in. I mean, they describe rabies when that squirrel was acting crazy.
Yeah.
In the garage, that squirrel, like, I'm sure he had friends like, what are you doing? That guy could have smashed you with a hammer.
Right.
But he didn't care,
Yeah.
So I don't know. So at one time I had to have the rabies shots when I was in the Air Force, because where I was stationed, they had raccoons everywhere.
Oh, boy. So you got a shot?
I was out on patrol. Yeah. I was out on patrol, and, we would get our lunches, and it was a graveyard, so it was nighttime. And I was just eating, and I had my hand outside the window because it was nighttime, and a raccoon snuck up and scratched my hand trying to get the sandwich out of my hand.
Oh, wow.
So it made me, I started bleeding.
Yeah.
And the doctor said I had to get the rabies because raccoons lick their paws, so the saliva could have been on their claws, and so I could get rabies.
Yeah.
So I had to get, now I remember my mom saying that you had to get like 23 shots in the stomach. And I was like, no, but when this happened in the late 90s, it was just 4 shots.
Oh, okay. Across how much time?
Well, so I had to get both. I had to get the one you get immediately.
Okay.
In case he had rabies.
Yeah.
Then it would keep me from dying.
Yeah.
And that was 11 cc's, which is a lot. And they divided it into 4 syringes, and I got 1 in each thigh and 1. So it was 4 shots.
All in one
11
sitting.
cc's. Yeah, they put 1 in each thigh.
One
and
thigh,
1
2 thighs.
and each buttock.
Oh.
And so they had to warm up the serum. It was very thick. And I remember jumping off the table to walk out of there, and I almost fell.
Wow.
That stuff was so thick. And then I had to come back, and so they gave me the first shot series, and I had to come back, I forget how many weeks later, and then a 3rd shot. And they said that would inoculate me for life, but that massive dose was in case the raccoon did have rabies.
Yeah.
Because it scurried off into the woods, and there was no way we're going to find it.
Yeah.
But I don't think he had rabies. Raccoons were everywhere. They were friendly. We were told not to pet them, and I wouldn't.
Yeah.
But this one scratched me because, again, I wasn't paying attention.
Raccoons are kind of scary because of that. Because otherwise they can be a little vicious, but they
can be, but they can become kind of tame.
Yeah.
And when I was and I'll dox it. I don't think it's a big deal to I was at Vandenberg. It's now Space Force, but it was Space Command. And I remember I was in a dormitory, and I ordered a pizza from Domino's. And so I was in my dorm room, and I forgot to order a soda. So I went down to the day room, which was, just across the lawn, to get a soda out of the vending machine. And the raccoons were everywhere. They smelled my pizza. And when I came back up, there was 2 raccoons in my room eating the pizza.
Wow. That's crazy,
I was
man.
tripping out.
Yeah.
So
did you have to throw out the pizza, or did you eat it?
I did not eat it.
Okay, good for you. That's pretty good self-control. I'd be. Were you tempted at all to eat it anyway?
No, I was just fascinated that the raccoons were that bold. I was just like, wow. Because I really never seen raccoons before until I got stationed at Vandenberg.
Okay.
So that was kind of crazy. But, so that's my bout with raccoons, and that's about it. I think when I was at Little Rock, skunks were everywhere. I remember them being everywhere, and if you threw rocks at them, I remember the first time I did that, I found out they're in a cat family, because I would miss, but they would pounce on the rocks, and it was like a game. I was trying to get them away from me, and they're like running after the rocks.
Wow.
And behaving like a cat would, like when a cat plays with stuff.
Yeah.
That's what they were doing. So, yeah. So, anyway, that's all I had.
Nice.
Just reminiscing about my Air Force days. And I got to get back on the road, sir. But shout out to your last few callers. They were pretty good. I like that. I think I've mentioned it. The whole cosmology thing caused me to look into the scriptures and to see if being taught lies. And when you guys are pretty adamant about the Jesus not being God, it's worse than trying to tell people the Earth's flat. You know what I mean? It's like they're like, what?
People will bite your head off.
They want to hem you up, and that you're I was told you got to be careful. You're being a heretic.
Yeah.
And I'm like, a heretic is when you tell people not to obey the law of God, not argue over something Jesus claimed or may not have claimed to have been. So that's all. I think that's what heresy is when you try to tell people how not to live when God made it pretty clear to the Israelites how we should live.
Yeah.
And that's in love and with peace and not a bunch of mess. But anyway, so that's all I got, man.
Thank you, sir.
Hey, God bless you all. And shout out to, let's see, who can I shout out today?
You can shout out the chat, the snake pit.
Oh, no. Well, I mean, they definitely need prayer. If they're real. They might be bots. I don't know.
I suppose.
All right, man. I'll just let it go. Shout out to Mark. I don't know what's going on with him, but he might be in the confessional. Maybe he got stuck in that confessional booth. I don't know. All right, man.
Thank you, sir.
Peace out.
You as well. All right, it's time for me to read a bunch of super chats that have come in. Tons and tons. Thank you, guys. Over on buymeacoffee.com/The Hake Report. I got quite a few. Thank you, guys. Let me double check over on the YouTube. Thanks again to Bolghar Wolf. If I scroll down over here, let's see where we are. Make sure that I get to all of you guys. I remember getting oh yeah, Sion. Okay. All right, so someone with your 5 coffees. I'll have to look up the dog from the Oliver Twist movie another time. Thank you. I don't remember it. To answer your question, I do not remember it. Genius dog, LOL. Eric, 5 coffees. The barber pole represents bloodletting. You know, the barber thing with the stripe swirly thing, and it spins, and it's like a spiral-looking thing. Barber-surgeons used to perform bloodletting, meaning letting blood out. It was a treatment, health treatment, purportedly, and other rudimentary surgical procedures during the Middle Ages. Red is blood, signifies blood. Blue, veins, because veins return back to the heart. And I guess they're blue because they lack oxygen. Maybe? I don't know. White bandage. Oh. And the metal bowl on the pole, you know, the top or bottom of the thing, of the barbershop thing. Metal bowl on the pole represents the bowl they drain the blood in. Ooh, kind of graphic there. Blood drop or red drop, bowl, barbershop sign. Never knew. Thank you there, sir. Pretty cool, Eric. See you on Hank. Look at my profile. And earlier she had a picture of something that I wasn't sure I wanted to look closely at it. Because she had mentioned something about neck and cut and something or other. And I don't want to look at a cut on some person's neck. So thankfully she switched it back to the Punchy's coffee with Jesse's signature on there. Nice. Jack-o'-lantern smiley emojis carved into pumpkins. Thank you, Sion. Nice to hear from you. Thanks for the coffee. But I did look a little bit closer earlier this morning before she changed it back, and it looked like a clean neck to me. I didn't even notice any cut. So maybe I didn't look closely enough. Nice. Cesar or Cesar, 3 coffees. Sup, Hake? Thanks for butchering my coffee on the JLP show this morning. Laughing faces with tears. Did I fix it? Did I correct myself after butchering it, Cesar? I don't remember. Speaking of JLP's show this morning, it was amazing to hear that young caller projecting his flaws onto his father by calling him a beta for not confronting women when he wouldn't even forgive his mother. That was interesting. Then Jesse makes the caller reveal he's afraid to confront his own mother. Mind-blown emoji. I didn't used to like this mind-blown emoji. I told you guys before. It's too graphic for me. I feel like I told you guys. Told somebody. That's projection in real time. Have a great show, Hake. Tan strong arm emoji. Thank you, Cesar or Caesar. Nice. Are you being sarcastic about me butchering it? Because nobody likes their coffee to be butchered. But I don't recall. Huh. Let me give Popcorn a fresh... let's do these supers here. Supers. Coffees. And Popcorn with a coffee says, the reason I used the term loosey-goose in my coffee yesterday about meritocracy is that people will hold certain viewpoints simultaneously and not see any sort of contradiction with it. Like I pointed out, it's the American way to hire some role like a judge who's the most qualified for the position, regardless of their race, gender, etc., i.e. Jesse's statement. Did Jesse really say even gender, like a woman judge? He must not have been thinking. I wonder if he really thinks that or if he misspoke, you know? Anyway, along with white men should be the ones running the country. But you don't realize that that's not necessarily a contradiction. It's not actually a contradiction because it's their country, you know? So they're qualified to run their country. And they just so happen to think more fairly to all the races than all the rest of the races think. You, for example, think black, Popcorn, and you don't even seem to realize it. Anyway, if you want to say that certain roles should be filled by white men, have that opinion. But that runs counter to the best qualified narrative. Not really, but you can think so. Nothing about being white makes someone inherently more or less qualified for a leadership role. It kind of does, though. It kind of does, because it tends to be like a white thing to be fairer per capita with everybody and more objective. Because the whites hold themselves accountable and one another accountable, usually, per capita. Unless you just want to be a symbolic checking of a box. Would you, Hake, support a liberal white for president over JLP? That will make it plain whether it's about character or race, he claims. tapping on the part of the Second Amendment that says shall not be infringed when the gun control is mentioned, but going I love that when someone suggests a third term for the Great White Hope. But the third term was not a constitutional issue. It was never in the Constitution until that greedy guy, who was not a good president, from what I heard, ran for like 3 or 4 times. Remember that guy? I don't remember him, but 100 years ago. Not the good Roosevelt, but the evil one, FDR. It's all loosey-goosey, meaning it's not grounded in anything. Say one thing when it sounds good, but when it's convenient, go, who cares? So judges or interprets Popcorn, the blind one. Terrible. What a mess. He's like a Pharisee. Popcorn, you remind me of the Pharisees. Rather than sitting and listening to the truth Jesus spoke, you tried to catch him in his words and make up contradictions. That's what's going on. Ease up with the judgment, I guess, with the blackness, the black mindset, the intellectualism. I don't know. But anyway, stay lost, whatever. Loosey-goosey. Thank you, Popcorn. It's like he doesn't hear me. Anyway, BBQ Pringle with the coffee says, according to FBI stats, BBQ Pringle, cool name. Since 1960, blacks have killed between 260,000 to 339,000 whites. This is almost 3 times the white on black homicides. Stop the violence. Yeah, when you consider there's 5 times as many whites as blacks in this country, then 5 times 3 is 15 times more commonly, something like that, or 4 times many whites, maybe. 4 times 3 is 12 times as many black on white. Of course, there's fewer blacks to work with in terms of to do in, right? But there's fewer blacks to do those crimes to the whites. So anyway, it's crazy. What a mess. Yeah, it's ridiculous. That's why many of white, including the guy who did in the church shooting, the bowl cut guy, Dylan Storm Roof, he searched black on white crime and he found out that it's way out of proportion, and he's hearing the media cry about this racism stuff. He's thinking white on black crime is way worse, way more common than black on white, and it's not. It's crazy. Thank you, BBQ Pringle. Eric, 5 coffees, says RFK is dead wrong. Such a Fox News response. It's the plastics, laughing face with tears coming out, the plastics that you're ingesting, endocrine disruptors. Everyone is so terrified to tell women the truth. Women are postponing marriage to be fools. I don't want to say it's a rude word, but it's rude what they do. Men don't want to be the 17th guy to the party and then pay for the party, clean up the party, and validate the party. What the eye roll emoji. When women prioritize pleasure over healthy families, society cannot overcome the fallen state. Nice. And then all these simp men are kissing up to them, enabling them. What a mess. Somebody's got to be responsible in this world. I agree with you, man. A mess. Sick stuff. Thank you, Eric. RFK is wrong. And he continues with the 5 more. Anything that postpones marriage decreases the fertility rate. Fact. People aren't having less S, he claims. Men are having less S. Women are having more S. Out of wedlock, S. 6. Decreases fertility. Decreases marriage. Increases divorce. And it increases the out of wedlock births. That's right. And then you have these communists like that Pharaoh who used to call into my show. Out of wedlock. Women. You have these pharaohs who call into my show. I use the term pharaoh loosely, right? And he says, if you encourage the whites not to have S out of wedlock, they won't be having S and they won't have kids. You have to encourage them to have the S out of wedlock. But we were having kids just fine before anybody was having the S out of wedlock that I know of. I bet you the S out of wedlock didn't happen as much as it does today. And we were making babies plenty. Not we, but they. Nice. Thank you, Eric. Chris, like Alan, I've noticed Mark has been MIA, missing in action. Also, I noticed he went MIA, missing in action around the time of the Gaza ceasefire. Coincidence? This disproved his theory regarding Jews running things, claims Chris. Disproved Mark. Wow, interesting. Nah, I think it was more personal pride related. Eric said, because I wouldn't let him, I don't know, I think I called him a Christ killer. He was all believing women, a male feminist. He accused me of hating women, and therefore I don't believe them about the Epstein thing, because these women are just making up stuff about Epstein and other people, allegedly. And I don't believe them. And he's like, you hate women. That's why you don't want to, and you love Jews and you hate women. You hate women more than you love your race, claimed he. But actually, he hates men, is what's going on. He hates men. So that's why. That's why he ran off. And you could argue it's less entertaining, but it might be better. It might be for the better that he cool off. Eric, 5 Coffees, a functional society would not allow Instagram and OnlyFans to exist because it fulfills a woman's need for attention. Better than a husband. False need, of course. That's right. That's right, Eric. IG and we'll call it. Are you not supposed to say that word? I noticed that people censor themselves. Yeah. My competitors talked about this too. There's a whole culture of de-shaming, taking away the shame. And they take away the shame in the wrong way. It's not a godly taking away of the shame, I don't think. It is an ungodly taking away of the shame and embracing the shamefulness as though it's fine. Short-lived, ill-gotten gain, squandering their life and youth, and encouraging young men or males squandering their wealth and enabling their irresponsibility and evil all around. A declining society, self into themselves society. So true, Eric. Thank you, man. Women have baby rabies. That's why they're so thirsty. Dead emoji, baby emoji. Dead is in laughing. When you have a skull, for the boomers, I learned this. Fellow boomers, I learned that when you do a skull, it means that you're laughing or you think that something is really funny, I think. Unless it literally means baby skull of a baby. I don't know. Huh. That's deep, Eric. Cesar or Caesar. So I'll do the baby rabies. Cesar or Caesar. Let me remind you of something, Hake. I may already have brought this up in the past, but it came up today. The birth rate crisis started in the 60s. Feminism grew rampant in the 60s. Birth control became really effective in the 60s. The last two things are what caused the birth rate crisis. Also, the last two things were created by unchristian people, Jews. To sum it up, some of the Jews want to destroy the U.S. from the inside. Okay, I'm done laughing face with a sweat coming down. Yeah, it's true, man. It's like, and I don't even know if they realize what they're doing. Cesar? So what was the 60s? Feminism? I mean, feminism came in, what do you mean, the 1860s? Because it was going on a long time. Around the time of, like, abolishing slavery, that stuff, women were behind that. The prohibition, let's prohibit, which worked, by the way. Let's prohibit beer and alcohol. Women were behind that. Let's get to vote. Women were behind that, letting the women vote. That was feminism. They had cockamamie ideas to enforce their ideas about morality rather than temperance. Temperance, they were behind the temperance movement, but temperance should be coming from within. And so I'm not so sure about, when do you enforce a law for morality? With murder, definitely you should, such as, abortion. I think that you should enforce a law if you can. But the people are not agreeing to the law. So the people are in intent, or half the people will say, are intent on Illing-K, the Abies Bay. What a mess. And birth control that goes along with the birth control, because abortion is part of the birth control thing. And which increased the out-of-wedlock stuff. It's out of control. Well, thank you, Cesar or Caesar. Yeah. Well, as Barbara Specter rightly said, they will be resented for their leading role. But leaders and followers are both evil, and evil couldn't happen without the followers. And many of the they too are following evil. They too are following evil, just like you and me. Thanks, Cesar and Caesar. I got a Facebook update from a person. Some of you guys have asked about him. LYC Lin Yen Chin states he cannot be exposed to those who use the suffix s on uncountable nouns, or those who insist that every other verb there concludes in the syllable s is countable as simultaneously plural noun. Works is only a verb. Same with fish, fuels, waters, jumps, washes. None of these should be used as plural nouns, but every science communitor pretends they are. I know you can't understand action words are not plural nouns. Misuse of suffix is why the space age has died, Hake. You are why we didn't have flying cars in the year 2000. Well, my IQ being only 72 is also part of the crime against humanity, but you should know better. God bless white baby engineers. May they also stop misuse of suffix so their efficiency improves. I'm with you, man. Because of you, I never stray too far from the sidewalk, Lin Yen Chin. And because of you, I have finally, after 37, 38 years of stubbornly putting apostrophe S after James and Jesus, referring to something belonging to James or something belonging to Jesus, I finally just put apostrophe and left off that extra S. Because when I was in second grade, Lin Yan Chin, I learned that you can either put an apostrophe and leave it just the S with the apostrophe if it's a name that ends in an S, or you can put apostrophe S. So I'm like, it's James's, it's Jesus's. But people will say, in Jesus' name. And that sounds nice. It's less abusive to the central nervous system, to your point. And so I have finally, you've broken me in a good way, Lin Yan Chin. Thank you. I think of you often, Lin Yan Chin. Whatever. Nice. LYC on, well, I won't call him on Facebook. Good morning, Meme Man, 1984. Nice to see you on the Pilled crew. Let me peruse. I sometimes completely neglect the Rumble people. So let me say my hello to Juno Who, which is probably somebody whom I should ban. Age of Inversion, Jules Verne, slave to him. Of course, Pastor Chatelet. T-Fly and Monkey 45, whose name I butcher every single time just for the sake of my sensibilities. And hello to you guys on the YouTube. All right. Let me make sure that you guys do catch American Anchor Baby. All right? He is coming up. Catch the Anchor Baby. I believe that he is set to rumble.com/American Anchor Baby. Yeah, I believe that he's set up as his off-site, right? His off-site thingamajigger. So nice. Right on. All right. Anyway, sorry. If we mosey on back to the HakeReport.com, do I want to do this? You know how this is another reason, even it's not just women being liberal. Even the conservative women, they're a mess. And it's true. Look at this mean gal. So I think it's a mean gal. Let's see here. Photographing something you want to show everyone. Object. Males take the picture of the object that they want to show everyone. And females, they get their whole face in front of most of it. I like that. Oh, Lord. Okay, nice. And I'll put, well, maybe not right now. And I saw this because another competitor of mine, Free-Domain, Stefan Molyneux, asks, why are you in the way then? To Ada, or Ada, I will always be so in love with Italy, says Ada. States Ada on X. History, art, food, nature, it mesmerizes me. And I think it's supposed to have a Z there. Heart emoji. Where is she from? Spain. Okay, this Spanish probably. And so it's a picture of this gal, pretty gal, in front of the, I don't know, this place in Italy. Is it Venice River or some river in Italy? Is that river that's all dirty around Paris? No, Paris is France. I don't know much about geography. So, and if you look closely, you'll see she has a touch too much in terms of the makeup. It's a touch too much. You can still tell she's pretty underneath it, but it's a touch too much. And I'll retweet this one because he's all, why are you in the way? Hopefully I don't get blocked. That was from October 19th. That was 9 days ago. He's like, why are you in the way? And you know what? I called her a mean gal because when I click here and I scroll down, how did she respond? In a nasty way. And this, I happen to know that she's a girl with common sense, which means she's, relatively conservative. And how did she respond when he said, she's like, I will always be so in love with Italy, history, food, art, nature, it mesmerizes me. And then he's like, why are you in the way then? Because she took 2 photographs and posted them on the internet, on X, formerly known as Twitter, and she's in the way. I mean, you can kind of see around it. You can see the reflection of this bridge, old school bridge thing in the water. See, if you look closely, that's a bit much. If you know makeup. If you don't know makeup, if you're not familiar with what makeup is, which I didn't used to be, but now I can see that's a touch too much. But look at this. You can see around her. You can still tell it's pretty. It's not that. She's kind of in the way. But anyway, it was, interesting, smart remark pointing out something. And what did she say? Nice way to tell the world you are good, said she. Terrible. Terrible. And how did I respond? I said, I quote tweeted something that she had retweeted. Because she had retweeted this woman who stated this: one of the most beautiful ways to honor your womanhood, Lord, is to be elegant in your mannerisms, in the way you walk, in the way you act, in the way you treat others, in the way you treat yourself. Elegance isn't snobbery or about style only. It's a way to respect ourselves, says Cleopatra Amanda Pereira. Something like that. As women. Respect ourselves as women. I'm like, what do you mean by elegance? What is elegant? Elegance, a quality of being graceful and stylish in appearance or manner. Style, the quality of being pleasingly ingenious. Efficient, like what Lin Yan-chin said. And simple, neatness, simple elegance. And how was it elegant when she said, nice way to tell the world you are gay? It was simple, but it wasn't pleasingly simple or ingenious. It was, you were lacking elegance. Ada. And this is a woman who, if you go into her profile, she's like a conservative gal. See, I don't trust, those natural lips, they don't look, side note. See, this is a bit much, but it might be natural. I don't know. Maybe she was born like that. But she's talking about Europe, the surveillance state, all concerned about politics. And it's sort of a conservative bent on it. She's like, if you go down, like you might find her talking into a crowd because she's not shy or whatever. Let's see. Is this her? No, it might be her. But she's talking to people in front of crowds and stuff. Let's see. That's probably not her. Oh, I found it. There she is. Is this Cesar?
Dobbiamo unirci ed essere orgogliosi delle nostre nazioni, del nostro patrimonio, delle nostre bandiere, della nostra storia e del nostro.
So she's a speaker type of gal. I was kidding about it being Cesar. It's sort of reminiscent in the voice. And Cecil, too, is like a conservative Christian gal, I think. Calls into my show sometimes, So she was lacking in 411,000 followers. Share the wealth. Lacking in elegance. What a shame. And I don't know if she had... I don't think that she's married or has children. And I pity the fool who falls for her and rushes in towards her because she's going to turn around and call him gay when he points out she's being too conceited or whatever. Whatever Stefan was doing. Because Stefan Molyneux, he's not that. He's married, has a daughter, and he's a great man. He I don't know if he was right or wrong with this mild joking around criticism, whatever, of her. But she proved him right, kind of. Mess. It's horrible. Check out his interviews with JLP, by the way. He interviewed JLP, and JLP interviewed him, too. Very good. Very interesting. Atheist guy, but pro-Christian atheist, if you will. Former Christian. So I shake my head at these so-called conservative gals. You know what I mean, Jellybean? It's not right. So anyway, callers, hang tight. I will get to you. No worries, all right? There's plenty of time. Be patient. Be patient. Have patience. Have patience. Don't be in such a hurry. When you get impatient, you only start to worry. Remember that God is patient too. And think of all the other times that people wait for you. All right? Wah, wah. It's a children's Christian song, okay? Herbert the snail, not the frog. Let me just double check, you guys. I talk crap about Seesaw. I was kidding around, Seesaw. Yeah, Hake, only conceited H's use their pictures. Well, whatever. Nice. Shout out. Okay, so let's get back to these stories because I have actually lots to cover before I get to your calls, okay? Before. And she has common sense, but she was detached from her common sense when she she crossed the line. I don't know if I want to show this one. She crossed the line when she was uncute towards Stefan. That's my boy. You know? Okay.
People in general, I'm tired.
And Wokeness posted this. I'm going to repost it, I guess. White people, we tired of you. We tired of your incompetence, your laziness, odors, violence. I'm chuckling because it's amusing, because it's look in the mirror.
Just white people in general, I'm tired of you motherfuckers.
Okay, never mind. Sorry, kids. Oh, just call me Italian. Oh! Here, let me quote tweet. I think Anchor Baby taught me how to... Warning, cussing. I mean, if you're on X, then you're not... Okay, so Windows key and semicolon? Oh! What happened? Did I just put this thing to sleep? Complicated business, folks. Okay. Yeah, I think that worked, though, Anchor Baby. I caught Anchor Baby. Yeah! I love keystrokes. Okay, so shout out to Anchor Baby. Here. Cussing. Yes. Warning. Cussing. All right, so all of you, I completely didn't catch that. I thought that I had listened to part of it. I must have listened to part of it, but not the part where she cusses. But anyway, she's tired of you. So I'm not Shout out liberal women. Shout out. Conservative women, shaking my head. Liberal women, shout out. All right. Anyway, nice. Moving right along. So that's cool. Yeah, so if you're ever using a non-Mac, the Windows key and the semicolon key pops up with the things in case you wanted to whatever. Here's Kathy Hochul. Kathy Hochul is being silly. This was from a couple weeks ago. Attorney General Tish James, Letitia James, has spent her career holding power accountable. Lord. Tish James. Kathy Hochul. Kathy Hochul is the so-called governess. Andrew Cuomo stepped aside to let her take over. He had selected her as his lieutenant governess. He's governor, she's lieutenant governor. It's kind of like president, vice president. And then she took over 57th governess of New York, not even elected. She just took over because he got Me Too'd. And it wasn't even a real situation, I heard, seemingly, apparently. He should have stepped aside and made her step aside too, because he's a hateful person and she's even worse, maybe. Holding power accountable. Just hold yourself. She didn't even hold herself accountable, to seemingly. And delivering for New York families. Now Donald Trump is weaponizing the justice system for his own political games, which is all the liberals ever do, not Trump. It's an attack on our state and our freedoms. You don't care about freedoms. You can't even have a gun in New York with more than 7 rounds, at least the city. Right? Something like that. They don't, normally a gun has 15 rounds or 20. It's 15 or 20, right? Say a Glock. You have a limiter to 10 in California. And then something like that. And then in New York, you can't even have more than 7. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Give me a break with your freedoms. Take your freedoms and put them up your nose. Don't say that, kids. New York will not back down. And then, so here's Tish James, reportedly one of her grandnieces or something, has showing off a bunch of money like a typical black showboat gal, OnlyFans type of gal, a lost person. And she was renting out her properties, pretending like it was her primary residence, according to this story. And I don't know if it's true, right? Letitia James, his niece, living in a home at the center of the fraud indictment, exposed as a fugitive from the law with years-long rap sheet, having a gun when she's a felon, and felons are not supposed to have guns, even though I'm for felons having guns. If they're not safe to have a gun out in the public, they're not safe to be out in the public. I say. I don't know if... Oh. So John Bolton... I don't know. It's a little bit different situation. Whatever. Blah, blah, blah. I don't care. Oh, yeah. Tish James stuff and John Bolton. I guess... I wonder if he mentioned Letitia James. Anyway. But that woman is so phony. She had her court appearance on Friday. And then I'll get to your calls. Hang tight. Tish James after court. And she's like with her phony politician point. This is full remarks from ABC News, I guess. I don't know if I want to show it. Look at that.
New York, but all across this nation.
I've never heard her voice before, actually. Watch her politician point.
I've heard from just about
you
every
see that?
jurisdiction in this nation who have said, stand up and be tall.
She is tall, I think. Tish James height. They don't normally tell how tall women are, huh? Approximately 5'8". Oh, okay. I'm taller. I'm way taller than her.
and never ever
See, look at that.
down.
Look at that. Did you see that? I'm going to zoom in on this and show it to you. Look at that phony, fat-fingered politician point. Is that her natural hair?
Tall.
See? Nervous hand.
And never ever cow down or back down. No fear. Or break or bend.
No fear. No fear. I like her New York accent. And you can tell she used to be kind of like, I mean, she even still a little bit like mildly attractive, but also a little bit repulsive. People can be both. But anyway, that's not the point. No, she's fake, and she's nervous, and she has her phony politician point. Oh, I lost my. Here, let me wake this thing up. Just a sec. But she has her phony politician point. That's when you put your thumb on your pointer finger, so you don't point, because pointing is rude. But she did slip and point. Politicians are not supposed to point. That's why Trump is real, because he points. But normally they go like this. It's considered less aggressive and less rude. So, a phony gal. Phony gal. Tish. So anyway, let me get to Rick in Hampton, VA, who's on the line over here. Rick, thank you for calling and holding, sir. How are you doing?
What's up, Brother Jay? What's going on? What's going on, man?
Not much, just bashing the women as much as possible.
Man,
righteously,
you, man.
though. Righteously. Constructive criticism.
Man, it seems like, I don't know why, it's like women, it's not me, just from the city.
Yeah.
It's like the women from New York have a certain accent, and everything is all about hustle and surviving.
Yeah.
I know it got to be more to that than life. You know, everything's about hustle and surviving.
I know.
Hustle and surviving. You know, and,
ridiculous.
And it takes the feminism out the women when they just constantly hustle and
You mean it takes the femininity out of them?
Yes, absolutely. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, because feminism is a bad thing. Femininity is beautiful.
That's what I meant. Yeah, you know, that's what makes women attractive when they keep their femininity.
Yeah.
And just stay feminine instead of trying to compete with men all the time.
Yeah, be feminine.
And that's what the feminist movement does. Right. They want to compete with men. And not to say that men are better than women. I mean, God can make us better than one another, but there are things we are superior in, and there are some things women are superior in as well. But for the most part, men built the world.
That's right.
Just call it what it is. You know, men built the world. Women like jobs that are comfortable. You know, like office work, you know, stuff that's comfortable. Because, look, if you call the police, James, would you rather for a man to show up or for a women police officer to show up?
I would rather a man, because a man is stronger, more even-keeled, not trying to prove anything, and all around better qualified. And a white male cop is less jumpy on the trigger, I heard, per statistics, than a black and Hispanic cop, I heard, per statistics, some report. But anyway,
I have, when it comes to that, if, most times the public school system teaches most blacks how to be victims.
Yeah.
And so it starts from the public school system.
Yeah.
And then it goes on to the liberal colleges. That's the HBCUs, and also the liberal colleges. And nowadays, man, if you can go to a Christian, like either Liberty in Virginia or a Christian college, man, go there, man, because a lot of these kids don't have a relationship with God. You know how you see some kids love the Lord before they went to college, and they all of a sudden come out of college hating God? You see that a lot.
Yeah, totally, man.
So what happened to you? Man, what a transformation.
It's not right.
I do one called Oscar Gnostic. That is
agnostic.
They don't believe that's. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They think that you can't know. Talk about ridiculous. How do you know that you can't know? That's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. You know, God will never let us figure him out. We will never figure God out because God knows how our ego would get built if we can figure God out. Our ego would be so big. And God knows us, man. We know ourselves, man. And we're just evil people.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, we are just evil people by nature. Even when we convert over to God, we still struggle, but, you know, we're just evil. Hey, like Jesse said, if you don't believe me, make somebody mad. And you'll find out real fast.
Totally.
Yeah, so, even this government shutdown, it's just so, you know, Democrats can be very deceptive. You got to really research and listen to what they're talking about. They always say, there's no law. It's against the law to get immigrants health insurance.
Yeah.
They'll tell you that, but their main motive is to get them health insurance. So that's what they won't say it directly. Like, we want to insure immigrants. But they'll say this, we want to insure all people, and that way they'll think we're talking about America, but why not say we here for Americans to get health insurance first? Why is it so hard for them to say that?
I don't even want anybody getting health insurance from the government. It's not the government's job in the first place. Yeah.
Exactly. That's why the government needs to get out the education system too. That's why colleges are so high.
It's so abused. I was talking with overhearing JLP talk about with you, I guess, on this issue. They are insuring and they're giving Social Security to people who barely got here at like 55 and 65 years old. They never paid into Social Security. It's not even so we should be getting rid of Social Security too. It's just abused and it's a big mess. It's terrible.
Well, James, we ain't paid for that, man. Let's hope that be there for us, man, because the way the Democrats trying to give it off to the immigrants, it may not be there.
I know.
Now they say you can get just about the max like 67. But the way he's doing it now, man, the earlier you can take your Social Security, you better take it now the way it's looking like.
Terrible. What a mess.
Yeah.
Oh, what did I do?
Oh, yeah, it is. You know, how long do you think the shutdown going to last in your guess?
I have no idea, Rick. I don't even care. I'm fine with the old shutdown. Rick, I got to run. I got to read some Super Chats.
Oh, do your thing, James, man.
All right.
But I do like to say this before I go. When it comes to the federal government, the federal government has some of the sorriest workers. Not all, but most. Talk to you later, James. Love y'all and be blessed.
Thank you, sir. I agree with you. Take care. And last Super Chats, I'm going to read them from here, okay, guys? Because it's faster. Cesar, let me remind you. Okay, I already read that one about the Jews and the feminism. Popcorn's Thump Hake states, Jesse tends to say, my country. So do you agree with him that it's his country? Or is it the white man's country? Or both? It is both. It's the white man's country. And he says, thank you for letting me stay here. JLP said that. And it is Jesse's country. Lastly, if you think the mind-blown emoji is rough, you must have been cringing watching the video that the Great White Hope posted, dropping all over the No King's Day protesters' vulgar stuff, right? Or was that funny/cool? No, that's gross. I don't want the... And I think that somebody else did that on him, on like the White House, and then he did it back to them. But yeah, no, I don't like the poop. That's nasty. Sick stuff. But shout out the Great White Hope. Thank you, guys. Peace in the Middle East. Or at least in your hearts. Adios, America. American Anchor Baby coming up next. Bye.